so there'll be multiple access points into the bathroom. Because right now they only got one access point to the bathroom, which is through the walk-in here. So this is going to be the walk-in closet through here. So we plan on putting like a small island in the middle to where you can put like shoes going around it. And then like you said, we're going to have, you know, everything going around so they could, you know, plenty of cabinetry so you can hang up all your, the little pockets. So this is the bathroom. So this bathroom kind of changed a couple times. So as you can see, it's a narrow space to walk in here. It's a real narrow space. Wow. So that's why we said we were gonna open this back up and have that door, the entry door here. Okay. So if you, there's multiple points of entry. So what we're gonna have, as you can see, the design is pretty much here. Okay. You're gonna have your deep soaker here. You're gonna have your Jack and Jill vanity here. And like I said, you're gonna have a huge walk-in here. And this is only gonna be the single rain shower with the jets on the side. Woo. It's a little bit smaller space, of course, because the square footage is smaller, but
that's gonna be a nice shower.
It is. But bathroom sells home, so we wanted to make this as nice as we could with the space that was allocated. So this is just extra space. This was like kind of like a, it was set up kind of like a workshop area. Mm-hmm. So what we were thinking about doing with this is just put in like board here, not really flooring, but like put like board here, and that was gonna be like extra storage space back there. It was gonna be closed off under the house, and this was just gonna be like laid out like with just like a type of board. Not necessarily like LPV or anything, not flooring, but
just something to keep it dry.
Exactly. So what the original plan was to create an opening here, leading downstairs in a stairway that could lead upstairs. So right here is where like the demarcation point is from the 2-1 to here, a pathway up here to go upstairs. So this is gonna be the 2 bedrooms, walk-in closets here. What we're gonna do with this, we're walling all this off. So the entrance point is gonna be from that side.
You got a light, right? The lights work
now? No, the lights don't work. But the entrance point, we're gonna wall that off, and the entrance point was gonna be from the staircase. This is the bathroom. So we have a shower, and we're gonna do the toilet, or the toilet's right there. Shower, the double vanity, and then this is going to be a small linen closet right here on the side, and this was going to be the common space for this downstairs area, more like a den type area. Yep. And then the other side, since it's finished, it was going to be like more of a bonus room. It could be a game room, it could be a video room. Or it could be a garage, right? If you wanted to be one. So that was kind of like the bonus area that we have over there.
What's going on, family? Johnny here, the military CEO. I know you guys have just seen all the footage, everything that we've been doing, but this is it. This is how you find, finance, fix, and finish homes. And it's been great spending the day with my client, Henry Scott and his dad, and just seeing their family business, everything that they've built here in the Augusta, Georgia market, and just seeing the projects that they're walking through, the process that they're going through with making the decision, the trade, and when it comes to the designing of the houses, the finishes that they're going to use, the materials, and then just the teamwork with the orchestration that they're doing to bring these deals together to make them profitable. And this is how you build wealth through real estate. So if you guys are ready to get off the fence, if you're going from interested to being committed to building wealth for your family, building generational wealth, and you're looking at real estate as that vehicle, I would love to have.
So this is on 5 acres.
What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to give people a few extra minutes to jump in tonight, since we're going to transition over to Zoom and out of the live stream, and and get going for night 5. Night number 5. How's everybody doing tonight?
Drop a 1 in the chat if you had a good day, a good week. I see Fort Dix, New Jersey here, Charlotte in the house. All right, I see the ones. Wild Bills here. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. I am excited about here, Augusta in the house. So day 5, we're talking about the power of taking action and defeating procrastination. We're going to talk about how we can leverage everything that we've learned all this week in order to apply it directly in our lives in order to achieve success in 2024 and beyond. So let's go. Without any further ado, we're going to get going tonight and talk about how to define for yourself what action looks like, embracing the journey. You know, I'm going to share a little bit of how this came to be for me, what did taking action look like for me in my life. And then I'm going to talk through about the millionaire success framework, and then just going through and walking you guys through that success formula to kind of show you that. Do you want to know who you are? Don't ask, act. Action will delineate and define you. Thomas Jefferson. I don't think you could sum it up any better than being able to the impact of action on your life. That instead of talking about it, be about it. Like Nike says with their slogan, just do it. And that's the thing that we talk about is, when it comes to real estate investing, no excuse, less excuses, more offers. Don't make excuses, make offers. That's what we do. And that's how you become successful. So for me, my journey started with 8100 Key Street. My first fix and flip project back in 2015. It was a Bank of America auction property. Was doing really well in my career. Was making 6 figures, but I still had that urge or that void that I knew there was more to it than me just working the 9 to 5, having a good salary, coming home in the evening at 4:30 and just, playing video games, playing fantasy football. And my wife and I, we had just had our first child, and that was really it. And so I was like, there's more to it. We had made the decision, that my wife was going to stay at home with the kid. We weren't going to put him into daycare, and she wasn't going to get back into the workforce. And we made that decision. I'm like, okay, we're going to just one income in the household. I'm like, there's a lot more that I can bring to the table. I have so much more potential outside of just what they're confining me to with my 9 to 5. And so with that, we took the leap of faith. Luckily, the house that we had purchased in 2013 was with an investor-friendly realtor. We kept in contact with her, and we let her know, hey, we're investing in real estate and we're interested to start looking around the market in the DC area. And lo and behold, we found a Bank of America foreclosure. It was an auction property. And guess what, y'all? We did our due diligence. We put in the work, and we submitted an offer. We participated in the auction, and we actually were successful in winning the bid. And this was the screenshot of that email that we got from the auction company that just let us know, Genesis Auctions, that let us know that, hey, that they wanted to talk about our offer. And because a lot of times when you make the offers on the auction, sometimes they don't share what their minimum bid amount is. So you could hit it or you couldn't hit it. And so in this case, it was enough for them to accept. This property had been on the market, not on the market, but had been vacant for some years now. And it required an extensive remodel. And it was just going through that whole process, leading the project. And, here's some pictures just from the inspection report, whereas that it wasn't always just straightforward, that even though we walked through it, I hired the right contractors, we went through the process, that there still was a lot that was left behind still to be done. There was, minor details that were overlooked. And just going through the process, it was the most stressful process at all, because you're going through and you get this inspection report and you have somebody saying, hey, you need to put in another $8,000 worth of work based off the inspection report, or, hey, my buyer's really thinking about going in and actually going back and actually going to another property and not even moving forward with it. And so I think that's one of the things that we have to realize is that you are going through and understanding that it's a process and you're taking action, but it's a leap of faith at the same time. And I'm going through the same process as we walk you through it, that your process is going to be something similar when you get your first deal, your first multifamily, that there's going to be fear. There's going to be doubt. There's going to be unknowns, but that is the time that you lean on your strength, your faith, your education, your knowledge, your community, and everything you have in your arsenal, your toolbox, in order to be successful.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey,
Yep. Excuse me. I'm seeing like black boxes on your screen.
you're not seeing the pictures? What about now?
We can see it, but there's like one that's at the bottom and on the right.
Okay. Let me stop sharing and go back into the
I thought it was just my screen because I'm having issues earlier, but someone brought it up in the chat too.
What about that?
There's more. There are now 3.
What about now? Are you still seeing them on the screen?
There's one.
One of them
Just
disappeared.
one at the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah, there's one at the very bottom.
What about now?
It's still there. How about if I do the sharing of the screen instead?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We'll pause for station identification right now.
I'm gonna have to.
Technical difficulty.
Right.
All right. Let me know if you guys can see it.
Yep. Or everybody go slide. Yeah, there we go.
This one.
Yep. We can start there.
No boxes.
No boxes.
All right. Cool. All right. Let's go.
All righty. So you can go, let's see, slide. Yep, the next one. I'm trying to think through if I I think it was slide 9. So Faye, you have the host capability. Let me see if you could give me the option to share and you take over as host.
I don't think
There you go. You have it now.
Okay.
You should be able to do a remote request, Johnny.
Yeah, I gave it to you.
Okay, perfect.
All right, we're good.
Yep. How's that?
Good on my side.
Good now? Sweet. All right. And so here are a couple of the before and after pictures for that first project. And going through that whole process, it was definitely stretched. It was just definitely a stretch from going with having black mold in the kitchen there. You see in the middle picture where the sump pump was no power on the property. And so with no sump pump active, that it was backing up with water whenever it would rain. And of course, no one was actively going into the house. And so you had black mold present. It had to go all the way down completely, actually replace a lot of the studs in that area. And of course, we had an in-ground pool in the backyard. And to go through all this, all on the first project. But where there's a will, there's a way. And you can start that journey and go. But guess what? Wealth has no shortcuts. Just like the success in life, the journey that we have to go through to find our success, there isn't any shortcuts to get there. And so with that, as I wrote my book, Millionaire Real Estate Success Strategies, I came up with this framework that I found that other millionaires and other successful people have really built in life. So it came in on a lot of the principles that we talked about this week, that it landed on execution, education, and the conviction. On the conviction side, starting with your why, the mindset, the strong desire. Why do you want to do this? For some that shared on Monday night, it's their family, it's the legacy, it's the generational wealth, it's the time freedom, it's the strong desire on building wealth and being successful at whatever it is that you choose to do in life. But from there, it's setting bigger goals. You know, Grant Cardone, he's big on 10X, but it's being able to set those stretch goals where even if you fall short, you come halfway to making the actual leap and succeeding. Guess what? You're gonna be a whole heck of a lot further than you were when you started the journey. And so understanding the impact of setting those bigger goals, but then also just defining that big burning why. Because when you get hit in the mouth, as Mike Tyson says, you have your plan, and everybody has a plan till it gets punched in the face. The big saying that we have in the Air Force is the enemy has a vote. Everybody has a plan, but guess what? The enemy does have a vote. And so understanding your why is going to give you that grit, that tenacity that you need to push through when you face adversity and the going gets tough. Education, having a live mentor. We talked about that last night, the mastermind concept, coaching, mentorship, being able to lean on someone else's experience in order to help you accelerate your wealth building journey. Books, podcasts, audio books, they all roll into it. And then also last night, we talked about live events and how those events, the meetups, that you can leverage other people's experiences. You can also leverage their expertise in order to meet all your challenges or whatever it is that you're going through. And tonight, we're diving into the other side of the triangle, execution. What does execution look like? What does taking action look like for you? And only you can define it, because it's going to be a little bit different based off your goals that you set for your life and for your family. And so understanding those goals, now we peel it back into what does the tasks that need to be accomplished in order to be successful? What is my routine? What does my calendar look like? What does my 5:30 to 7:30 2 hours look like before I go into the office? Now that I'm starting my side hustle to create more income, or starting my business, what habits do I need to change in order to drop 20 pounds, 30 pounds, to get back stronger, to get back in health, where I can travel, where I can do the things that I want to do, where I can be here for my family. And so now it's identifying, okay, how do we put our schedule around our life, around our goals in order to be successful? And then that last bullet there with execution, embrace adversity. Because guess what? There isn't no straight shot to success. It's a winding road. I think one of the jokes that I hear is, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Because guess what? It's 100%. I'm 100% sure everything in life is not going to go as planned, and that's okay. Because guess what? Going in, we already know that, so we're already equipped ourselves from a mental mindset perspective for adversity. Because we know why we're doing this, and we know that challenges are going to come up. But guess what? We have resources, we have knowledge, we have the network in order to back us up, in order to get through anything that we have that comes in front of us. And we talk about, like with Philippians 4:13, that we're more than conquerors. And so, and that's the thing that we got to realize, anything that's put in front of us, that we are able to go forward. And so now that success formula is simple. Get the information. We talked about all the information this week. We talked about how to set the right goals, how to have the right mindset, how to build wealth with multifamily, how to get in the rooms in order to network and mastermind and come together. How do we get all that information, continue to get that information? Now we add that to the action that we're taking with our routine, with our habits, and everything that we're showing up with on a daily basis. And now it's just a matter of repetition, because work works. As we say, the math has the math, that we know these principles are tried and true. We talked about the mastermind. Napoleon Hill wrote about the mastermind concept in 1937. And he interviewed Andrew Carnegie, who said he had been using that concept for 25 years, before the year 1900. And we see, the data where 90% of millionaires the last 2 centuries have made their wealth in real estate. So we know the principles are there. Now it's just a matter of putting in the repetitions, putting in the reps, day in, day out, underwriting properties, going to the accountability groups, looking at deals, putting in offers, walking properties, going under contract, and then eventually closing the deal and getting that first one, learning through that process, and then repeating it over and over again, just like riding a bike that you never forget. And so that's one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys, to kind of go into that success formula. And I know one of the things that that just kind of talking with one of my mentees and Henry to come up and was just chit chat for a second. But one of the things that him and I, we kind of talk, throughout the week, as things come up, and me checking in as well too. But really going through that action process, and really what was that transition. And so I wanted to have Henry come up and kind of talk about how to go from that planning side into execution and what that kind of looked like from him. Because I think it's fine for me to talk about my journey and where I'm at, but I think it's always good to hear from other people as well too, on their journey. So Henry, you mind sharing that with us tonight? Kind of talk a little bit about just how you made that transition from the actual education and building the foundation and actually going into the execution phase with your business.
Right. What's going on, y'all? So, just to kind of give y'all a rough background about me, I started doing real estate back in October of 2022. So I'm fairly new, just like everybody in the group. But the main thing that kind of helped me is that I like to use my life experiences to kind of help me put the information in context that'll help me absorb it faster. So I use a lot of my military experience. I use a lot of my project management experience. I'm deep in project management to kind of make the concepts understandable. So that's kind of how I was like kind of developing the education piece, because there's so many facets of real estate. And for me, I know, just being in the military, like, you always get thrown in situations that you don't really have a good understanding or good grasp of. You just expected to learn it. So how I tackle real estate with that same concept is I set up my educational plan for the whole month. And then for the month, I backwards plan for every day on how I was gonna incorporate something within real estate in my daily journey. So
how did that typical day look for you? Kind of just walk us through like a average day from
okay,
start.
so I have my board in my room. So my board is laid out from 6 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. So in the morning time, because I work remote, I do like my morning work for like 4 hours, and then I get an hour of real estate. That day it may be acquisitions, right? So I get in my hour whenever, like at noontime, and then I hit a couple hours before I go to bed. And that could be at 10 o'clock when my kids go to sleep. But I always pencil in that time to hold myself accountable that I need to do it. And like you said, throughout the business of the day, I got 3 kids. You might forget. Like, I'm a very visual person, so everyone's different, but I'm very visual. So I'd like to have little things everywhere in my house to remind me of the things that I need to take care of. So my biggest thing from the educational aspect is get all the information that I can, put it in some type of order that that'll help me learn it quickly, and map it out daily. So like I said, my typical day is, I do my 9 to 5 stuff. I pencil out time to where I can, fit in, read here, or look up information here, like acquisitions. Like, I'm a big acquisitions guy, so that's my forte. I like going out doing a market analysis. I like being a part of the underwriting process, but I like, doing like the stakeholder engagement, the vendor relations type stuff, and going out researching, doing walkthroughs. So that's my thing. So that's what I focused on for the majority of it, learning that piece, being an expert in that piece.
Okay.
And then the stuff that, yep.
And then I was gonna say, so how did that transition to getting that first deal under contract, going through that process, actually, hammers,
Right.
demos starting, hammers starting to fly. What did that process look like for us, the actual execution with being able to leverage? Did you have it all together? Did you have all the education that you needed going in, or were there gaps that you had to fill along the way?
Right. So to answer the question, no, I didn't have all the answers, and I still don't have all the answers going into, like, doing my third flip. I'm still learning, and that's the thing that and the message that I kind of want to convey is that you're never gonna have enough knowledge to get started.
Okay.
It's something that you're just gonna have to jump into. You're just gonna have to feel comfortable within your education and your financial tolerance. And I forgot who said this, but it's like, when it comes to taking risks, you can only risk what you're able to let go and forget about. So
Okay.
So I found that threshold, and that was when I was ready to take action, when I had the education that I needed and I had the amount of money that I needed to get started. And that's when I kind of jumped into my first property. So how it got started was, I'm big on social media. So I was constantly posting on social media like, hey, this is my journey, this is what I'm learning, this is what I'm doing. Doing videos, I'm doing reels. So I was getting a lot of good feedback from people that was in the industry. As you said, networking, right? So I was networking with this one realtor here in my local area through just through Facebook. So we connected, and he showed me a property. So I walked through the property with him. I took my contractor with him, that I met through Facebook, and we went through the property. I did my market analysis on the property via the education that I learned, and like I said, the realtor really helped me through the process. Building those relationships. Because the thing is, you're not going to know everything, and you have to trust somebody in this industry. And that's why they say it's hard to do it by yourself, because you're not going to have all the information. You have to trust somebody, but you want to be able to do your due diligence on that person as well to make sure they are credentialed to be able to advise you. So, and that's how I kind of got to my first property. I took what I knew and what I seen. And I don't think I had met you when I got my first property. I think I had met you, but it's just using the resources around you to help guide you, because I mean, you're never going to be fully ready, but I'm the type person, just my personality, I like to jump in head first with things. And so I just took I just took action, and you got to be able to live with, because the thing is, like, in the military, we're used to failure and we're used to being resilient. So I knew if I failed, I was going to gain something from the experience.
Right. And so where did that take you guys? Where are you guys right now? Kind of in the execution phase.
So in the execution phase, and I'll be posting a reel on my page soon. But the process, so my first property, the process has taken, so we estimated it to be 2 months to finish. It's actually 4 months now. So we're really 2 months behind. But we had to go through so we had to fire one of our contractors, because contractors is like, hey, you take a chance, you do your research, and sometimes it's just like you can do everything right, but still be wrong, right?
Yep.
So and that's kind of the thing, is like embracing adversity, like you were saying. It's so we had to find us a new contractor. So the new contractor came on, you had to build that continuity, you had to build that relationship with them, right? And then there's different types of contractors. You got your general contractor.
Somebody said contract.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
funny,
Yeah. So in the different levels to contractors, right? So you got your general contractor, which does everything, right? And then you got your smaller, more startups, mom and pop contractors, where you have to kind of guide more. So you got to be more involved in the process. So I'm with one of those contracting that have to be more involved in the process. So the projects take a little bit longer, and kind of like what you said, it's like we found things that were hidden under the that were hidden to where we couldn't see it. So right now we're at the end of the process to where we'll be putting it on the market in the next 2 weeks.
Okay. And I know you guys got 2 other projects that you're working right now simultaneously. So to go from one deal, now you're managing 3 deals simultaneously, looking at multifamily properties in the Augusta market and underwriting deals as well too. And that's the thing, it happens fast. Like I talk about in my book, The Law of the First Deal. Like, you get your first deal, and it's amazing like how momentum builds and how things just start kind of waterfall effect. And it's the same thing that happened on the multifamily side. You get that first deal, brokers see you close, they start calling you like, hey, look at this deal, and like, hey, would you be interested in me selling your deal? No, sorry. We get that call all the time, but they're also like, hey, review this, because people take you seriously, and they look at you different. And that's one of the things, like when you're part of a community, that now you have the resume and the credentials of your group. And, if there's a leader in the group, that you can lean on their experience to get there. One last question before we move on, but how was the fear? How did you get past the fear? Or maybe let me ask this. Did you have fear? I know I had fear when I started, and maybe some of the other people listening in before we're talking about taking action tonight. Was there a fear component with moving into that first deal for you?
Yeah. So I say first starting out, and not being really sure about multifamily or single family, actually doing the actual process, and yes, the abundance of information that's out there. So there was like a lot of fear from the aspect of, okay, am I able to withstand the journey, the whole entire journey? It wasn't a fear from starting the project. It was like, can I outlast the problems? Can I
Mm,
can
okay,
will I be able to sustain it over time? I think that's the fear factor that me personally that I'm facing. It's not the individual fear from project to project if it's gonna fail, but well, is it gonna be sustainable for me to continue? Because most businesses fail within the first 3 to 5 years.
that's true.
So, or
That's true.
I mean that's the stat that I looked up. So it's just the fear, just the longevity of it. Am I able to reach the finish line?
And what's the answer to that?
Oh, most definitely.
Unequivocally, yes.
That's it, because I have a team behind me. So I
Okay.
mean, I can't fail.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's it. I can't fail. I don't think there's anything else to say with that. And that's the biggest thing that and I appreciate you, Henry, for sharing that with everybody. The when you start looking at it, at the success of other people, and you realize that we're all ordinary people, we're all out here trying to strive to be the best version of ourselves. And we all face adversity. We all face the same challenges. And you're gonna face those same challenges whether you're living on purpose or you're not living on purpose and you're living a purpose driven life, then guess what? You're going to still have the same challenges and deal with the same adversity if you're not betting on yourself and chasing your dreams and going after success in your life. So, no, I definitely appreciate you sharing that. Kind of going through where we are right now with all that, that it's a testimony to, you're not by yourself out here, because a lot of times fear holds us back is the number one hindrance to people getting started, but then money, the lack of capital, and just the relationship with money. And that was the big one for me when in my journey of taking action and the repetition. Because like on that first deal I showed you guys, it wasn't all rainbows and unicorns. Like my lender made more money in that deal than I did. We going through, and I didn't understand the terms with the hard money loan, in which looking back I would have done it the same way, because I didn't have a track record, and I had probably talked to at least 10 hard money lenders that all told me no. And but I didn't give up. We had the deal under contract. I'm like, we're getting this project done. And so I found a local hard money lender who was more so a private lender, a wealthy individual here in the DC area. And it was a 10% interest rate, but it wasn't accrued daily. It was a flat fee. And so we had a 1-year note. And so whether I had that house and had the money, and if I had sold it in one day, I still owed him 10% of the loan amount. And so that loan amount ended up being yeah, exactly. Somebody said, ooh. I said, ooh, too. when I, when I got that HUD statement, when I was selling, hold on. I'm like, hold on, he getting 23,000. I'm like, we didn't use the money, but for 5 months, how's he getting 23,000? And that's when I looked at the fine print, like, oh, well, I won't be doing that again. I'm gonna look for that in the terms next time. And we still made 15K in the deal, but he made more money than us. And it was it's something that I take with me with every deal, with going through and the promissory notes, and making sure I'm explaining to people that are lending money, whereas that they're not making those same mistakes that I made. And that's the thing that you have to realize, that you're taking that step out, but you're always leaning forward. And so that was the big thing with me with taking the action, that it allowed me to learn a heck of a lot that I would have never learned. I couldn't have read that. I could have read it in the book, but it wouldn't have meant nothing to me at the level that it meant actually going through that process. And to date, that is still, I think this townhouse coming up that we're about to do is going to be up there. But this still, up until right now, has been the most extensive renovation that we did. And that was my very first deal back in 2015. But it gave me that pedigree, and it gave me that insight on, okay, what I do want to do in deals and what I don't want to do in deals from a renovation standpoint, where I want to do more cosmetic type renovations, We can take the extensive stuff where we do a lot more remodeling. But for me and my business model, I want to get in and out really quick, make my money fast, and move on to the next project. And that's kind of how I've evolved from the action standpoint. And now it's just a matter of once you kind of get that first deal, you understand the process and the repetition, and now it's just go, 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 and you make it happen. And you know, I wish I could tell you tonight that there's a secret weapon, or you know, there's a genie you can go rub, or there's like, you know, a phone number that you can call to do it and make it straightforward, where it's 100% risk free. That there's not going to be any setbacks. That it's going to be straightforward and happen. But I can't tell you that. I can't promise you that. But I will promise you, tell you, if you're faithful to the process, you will succeed. On the other side of that fear, on the other side of the repetition, on the other side of that action is everything that you want. That time freedom, that financial freedom, that freedom to go where you want, with who you want, when you want, for how long you want. And that's what it's all about. Because real estate is nothing but a vehicle. Starting a business is nothing but a vehicle to get you to where you want to be. And once you set those goals and define where you want to be, guess what? That's where you're going to end up, if you believe. So with that, I wanted to take some time, kind of walk through the action. I really wanted to kind of get the insight of somebody that's kind of knee deep in it, been in it here most recently, kind of share their piece, because we went through it. We talked about mindset the first night. We talked about the state of where things are right now in America. Is no better time right now to be living in history than right now. And looking at where we are right now in the opportunities. We talked about an 11-year-old who started her own lemonade business, got lemonade on the shelves at Whole Foods, then, you know, went out and raised money on Shark Tank, raised $800,000 from NFL players. And if she can go out there and sell lemonade, I'm talking about she's selling lemonade. She's selling sugar and water and lemons and raised nearly $1 million. If she can go do that, every one of you on the Zoom tonight, everyone on the call, myself included, our kids included, we got to pour this stuff into our kids as well too. They can go do it and they can achieve whatever it is in life. We talked about the wealth gap, you know, where the top 1%, 10% control the majority of the wealth in the United States. We're looking to change that, because guess what? The process of not teaching everything that we taught this week, I don't think it's a mistake, because they could have easily changed the curriculum at any point in history to start including this information and talking about it, but it's not there. But guess what? You still can learn about the Pythagorean theorem. You can still learn about all the chemistry elements. I can't even remember, like, what you think about, what are you going to do if you're not going to be a chemist, or you're not going out here to, you know, work doing something illegal with drugs? What you going to need to know about chemistry and petri dishes and scales? It's like there's so much other stuff you can teach us on how we could be functional as adults. But we're not going to solve that problem tonight. Then we talked about the characteristics of the success mindset, positive attitude, growth orientations, the resilience that comes with it, the I can statements. But then also we went into the overcoming limiting beliefs, identifying those challenging negative thoughts, how we can go in and we can replace those with positive affirmations, how we can cultivate that can-do attitude and learn and grow and continue to hone our skills. But then also, you know, we talked a little bit with the action piece, but how do we embrace challenges? Being able to grow through these lessons learned when we're having issues, or how we can use these situations for improvement and continuous personal development. And I think, you know, and then we went from there into learning and adaptability, how to stay curious, open-minded, the flexibility and change, and everything that comes with it in driving to having that mindset of a millionaire, of a wealthy individual. Then we talked about goal setting. We talked about how to prevent burnout, how to have a strategic decision-making framework, and how to align properly with your goals. And you guys know we went through the SMART framework. I really like the videos, you know, understanding where you all were coming from, where you are right now with setting goals for your life, what you're looking to achieve, especially in the real estate space. But then also, you know, you can apply this to relationships, to your personal life, to your health and fitness, your spiritual life as well too. And so we learned about how to set SMART goals with being specific, how to be measurable, attainable, realistic, and then timely. And we actually talked about the vision board, how to create the vision board, you know, where you're just taking simple memory joggers that you can look at and glance and understand, okay, hey, how am I showing up today to get me closer to my goals, to get me closer to my success? And if they're not, then I need to realign what I'm doing. But always keep what's most important top of mind. And then we talked about wealth on Wednesday night. We talked about the different myths that are out there with wealth. And then we talked about in reality, with smart planning and hard work, that we can succeed, that anybody can do this. There's options out there. There's good debt and bad debt. And also that there's different ways that you can focus your living on being able to be an astute investor, but then also how to manage risk and how to stay disciplined. And we know that 90% of millionaires, guess what? They made their money through real estate. You got to have long-term vision and planning. You got to take calculated risk. You got to be able to diversify. You got to understand taxes, because guess what? We talked about it. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep at the end of the day. And then we talked about financial literacy, passive income, and then the psychology of wealth. From a poor mindset, a middle-class mindset where you're paying bills, you're buying more stuff, you're looking to get good credit so you can buy more stuff. And then the wealthy mindset where you're focused on how can I turn my dollars into more dollars and continue to grow and eventually build up enough passive income where you don't have to trade your time for money anymore. And guess what? One of the best vehicles to do that is multifamily. And then we talked about some of the 7 strategies. What do you guys think? What was kind of one of these strategies that stood out to you that somebody's going to take with them to maybe make some more income? We talked about you can upgrade your skills. You can start a side hustle. You can invest wisely. You can create more passive income streams. You can network effectively. You can monetize your hobbies, and you can continue to grow financially. So I want you to just share in the chat right now. What was one of the top strategies that you thought about creating more passive income in order to grow your income this year? All right, somebody said side hustles and new income streams. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. And that's the thing. Do you guys understand from the mindset? Do you think that you could do this? We're talking about increasing your income. Going through this week. Let me know. Drop a yes or no in the chat. Be honest. Drop a Y or an N for yes or no. But yeah, let me know. Do you see yourself being able to create additional income to become a passive investor, to become a multifamily investor in 2024? Is that something realistic? Okay, I see some Y's, no no's. And that's something, whether you drop it in chat, maybe not in 24. Okay, we need to talk about that, Katrina. Why not in 24? But that's the thing. Personal coaching. Okay. Somebody said personal coaching. Is that Janet? Yes, but that's the thing. You can do this, because guess what? We talked about it. If you don't think you can do this, you cannot do this. I can tell you right now, if you don't believe you can do it, I agree, you can't. But if you believe that you can do it, you can do it without a shadow of a doubt. And that's the thing that we got to realize, that we have to be intentional with our thoughts and with our words and with our actions in order to become successful and going through that process. But this is something to definitely think about with the income. And then we talked about the benefits of multifamily. We know it's stable income. You have the risk diversification, the appreciation potential, the portfolio expansion, wealth creation that's made through multifamily, and then all the tax advantages and the economy of scale that comes with it. And of course, we talked about where the best places to invest. You want to think about the location, your job growth, the population trends, the amenities that you have to offer in the area, crime rate, and the proximity to different amenities, the schools, and the proximity to interstates and things like that you want to consider, because people also consider that when they choose where they want to live. And then, of course, we walked through an initial problem to kind of calculate what the current market value was for this property here. But then also we went through and figured out another metric with the occupancy rate. And then we computed what the cash on cash return was for this, and kind of walked through what was that process to go through. Then, of course, we talked about due diligence, everything involved with that, from the research phase all the way through closing, and the different financing options, whether it was the traditional bank loans, joint ventures, syndication, seller financing, lease wraps. You have so many different options, the creativity. And that's what I love about multifamily, because the sellers are receptive. Like when you're talking to a single family homeowner in distress, like this may have been the only time they ever bought a house. This may be the only asset they own. But on the flip side, when you're talking to a multifamily investor, they're a little bit more sophisticated. So they understand how to get deals done, and they're more participative in the deal making process if they're motivated. And so, and that's the thing. And we talked about my first deal and just that process, that evolution to get there, and then what the refinance looked like in 2 years with being able to go in and add value and put that deal together. And so after that, we walked through some steps, make sure I'm hoping everybody took notice of those steps on kind of for a new investor, what you need to do and focus on. We talked about the education component, the financial preparation, knowing where you stand with your income that you have and your income goals as well too, but how to also do the market research, go through the property criteria that you want to buy, the networking and building relationships and how important that is, the documentation, got to have the operating agreements, the paperwork in order to get the deals done, and the contracts, and the contracts with the statement of works with your contractors as well too, and the continuous learning component, and then just all the resources that you guys can leverage in order to get there. And then last night, as we continue to go through the process with everything that goes with network, the power of mastermind groups, how you can leverage them and bring 2 or more people together behind the same cause, but then also how you can leverage them to build that alliance, whereas that now you're a lot more stronger than just you by yourself trying to approach all your challenges and issues that you run into, and being able to get past that negative mental attitude in order to come positive and to be able to make the progress that you need in order to get forward. And this is one of the things, we're looking at with the masterminds, that it just allows you to get information and accelerate your journey. That's all it's about. It's about getting there faster. We talked about it with the time. You're buying time. This is the one way that you can buy time, because you can talk to somebody that has 20, 30, 40 years of experience, and you can take their 40 years of experience, their pain, their adversity they face, their challenges they overcome, and you can collapse that into a page, a day, 2 or 3 days, into 6 months. So now you can take all that information and apply it to everything that you're doing. And now you've got 40 years wrapped up in the last 6 months of you being in someone's mentorship or having access to someone. And now you can take that 40 years and collapse it into a 6-month period and take all that information that individual learned over that time and apply it directly in your life in a short amount of time. And that's the true power of being able to find your circle, to find that mastermind group that aligns with you and aligns with your goals on where you want to go. And just the power with that, it lowers your risk overall. It allows you to go all in with setting larger goals. You're going to have people that's going to push you. They're going to push you into your dreams, your passion. And I like to say they're going to push you into your destiny, because a lot of times we let that fear hold us back. And so with that, we kind of ended the night talking about mentorship and being development driven, supporting the personal and the professional development, and then also just the freedom to think that comes with it, with just someone being able to give you a different perspective on what it is that you're going through, and understanding that now you're going to be able to show up in your life more efficiently and more effectively because of that mentorship. And then, of course, we've talked about the mentor roles, the mentee roles, and how you can actually come in together and what the benefits of mentorship are. With the confidence boost, you can earn more, a better, broader understanding of a certain industry, but then also allowing you to get that knowledge that you need in order to go to the next level. And then, of course, we talked about coaching. We just talked about those high performers, whether to pick a sport, and just the ability for them to bring coaches in order to get them to the next level, to get them at their highest level, in order to pick their peak performance on being able to leverage coaches. And then, of course, we talked about the other mastermind concept with all these businesses having a board of advisors that is simply, diverse thinking, diverse backgrounds that all come together for the common goal to accomplish the mission of the company. And that's all the board of directors are. And their mission of going forward with being able to bring their expertise to the table with a group of other aligned individuals. And so with that, I wanted to bring another individual to kind of share his testimony, if you will, and just kind of share his journey to go, as we talk about taking action tonight and we wrap up, but going through really how he went through his process on making that transition from inaction to coming in the education side, and then figuring out that everything that he wanted was on this other side of him taking action and being able to change his life and everything in between that allowed him to go and to get into the position where he's at. So I know you guys always hear me talking about my business partner, my mentee, Reggie, and I'm gonna just let him kind of come and just share his story with us tonight and just talk about how he was able to take action and kind of change the trajectory for his life, but then I think for his family as well too, that are going to greatly benefit from everything that he's been able to do.
What's good, Johnny?
You got it, man. What's
good? Can y'all hear me good? Good. What's up, Henry? Okay. Look, John, is it cool before I start to give a couple of shout outs?
Yeah, most definitely.
Man, first I want to shout out to, I see my guy with my Eagles fan, my Eagles counterpart in here. Yeah, I see you in here, but I really want to give a shout out to my veterans in here. If you're a first responder, give you guys a shout out, military. I also want to shout out for everyone that just came in today, because look, you've been here all week. You didn't have to. And that shows something within yourself. But one thing about it, I don't want you guys to just spend all week here and don't take any action. I want you guys put one in the chat, man, if you ready to go. Like, this gonna be a different year. I mean, some of y'all say it every year, but you actually don't do it. You may start for a couple of months, but you end up stopping. Also, I want you to put in the chat. Selfish. Put the word selfish in the chat. Because sometimes, man, we gotta be a little selfish. It's all right to be a little selfish.
Okay.
You've been working for somebody your entire life. You've been doing stuff for your parents, your kids, your friends. You've been helping them out, but you ain't done nothing for yourself. So I want you to put selfish in the chat. Listen, when I was a police officer, man, and when I worked for the federal government, I said, man, this can't be it. I got to do something different. And one thing about a job, they make you guys do stuff that you don't want to do. So you either got to make a choice. Either you have to suck it up and stay there, or you're going to have to do something else. I decided to do something else. So, I started my podcast. I tore my Achilles. One of my kids was a little sick. I went and got my CDL, and I met Johnny, and he came on my podcast. And man, Johnny gave so much information on my podcast, Count the Cost podcast. You can look it up on YouTube. He dropped so much gems. After off camera, I said, hey, man, you got to get me in that program. He's like, yeah, man, come on, man. And this is when he was first launching it. And 11 days in the program, I was able to get my first house under contract. And let me tell you how I was able to do that. It wasn't just following the tools, but I believe, I just didn't get in there and say, like, you know what, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to just try this. I said, no, I'm going to do, so let me put doer in the chat. If you a doer, put doer in the chat. If you a doer, put doer in the chat. Man, we got to get time. It's time out, man, for just showing up to these courses for free, paying your little $9.95 or $95, $100, and say, well, I did something, but you never actually do nothing with it. Okay, because right now you're spending your time, and if you don't do nothing with it, you're just wasting your time. Okay, so once I closed on my first fix and flip, within 90 days, we was able to sell it. I've never seen that amount of money in my bank account at once, ever. I'm telling y'all, I've never seen that much money in my bank account. To some people, it may not be a lot, but you got to understand, I'm 33 years old, and that was about 2 years ago. Y'all got to understand that I've never seen that before. So I said, okay, this got to be real. Then you got to understand, after I got my other rental, I rented out and I was getting money every month. They call it mailbox money. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't understand. It feels real good between the first and the fifth when that Zelle account go ding, and then you see the amount of money that you didn't even have to work for. You didn't have to clock in, put no time in. You know what I'm saying? It feels real good when you refinance that house and you get tax-free money. You can either reinvest or do whatever you want with it. Buy your wife something, buy your kids something, buy your baby daddy something. You do whatever you want with your money. It feels real good when you can do another fix and flip. And then when you walk into the work, your boss asks you to do something, you looking at him like, who you talking to? It just give you a different swag, right? So what I'm saying, y'all, listen, I want y'all putting a 1 in the chat. By the end of tonight, you've decided I'm rocking with Johnny. Put a 1 in the chat. Now I believe word is bond, okay? So don't just put a 1 in the chat if you're really not gonna do it. Put a 1 in the chat. You say, you know what, Johnny, I'm rocking with you. I'm finna join the REI family. I'm finna get a part of this thing. I'm getting my first fix and flip. And guys, you don't have to make all these crazy goals. Now, let me tell you what I did. When I joined the program, my goals, because he talked about goal setting, I wanted to do 4 rentals and 4 fix and flips. But man, let me tell y'all something. In March, I read Johnny's book. Johnny, give the name of that book again. What's the name of that book again? Give the name of the book again.
Millionaire.
I read that book right there. And there was a chapter in there that talked about apartments. So when I read apartments, I was like, dang, I pretty much can use the same strategies, but I can get more doors. So I called Johnny one day. Johnny, I ain't no liar, y'all. I called Johnny up. It was one morning, he's on his way to work. It was early too. I said, man, you know what? I said, I want 50 doors. I said, I just read your book, man. And let me tell you something. He was like, man, you can do it. Now, you know, for a coach, you're supposed to say that. You're supposed to say that. Now, I believe he believed I get them 50 doors. I believe, you know, he believed in me. But a coach supposed to say that, right? So what I did was I signed up for some conferences. I bought some more books, some material to dive real deep. And that's one thing that I didn't get being I call myself a veteran in this program, right? He's actually going to be teaching y'all going deep diving in multifamily to where you get however many doors you want, right? So after I started going to those conferences, I'm talking about, man, I was cold calling. I'm hitting up realtors. I'm hitting up wholesalers. I'm going to my Facebook groups. Guys, and this is not a lot of work, y'all. This ain't a lot of work. You can get you an email together and go to the MLS and email realtors your buy box and introduce yourself, and they'll just start sending you stuff left and right. Yep. You can go to these wholesaler groups within your state, within your city, and introduce yourself, your buy box. They're going to be sending you stuff left and right. You see what I'm saying? You can call brokers up, introduce yourself by reading these books. Let me tell you something. I didn't know really nothing about apartments. I just knew the basics, knew the lingo, talk to these brokers, and they was like, okay, he may know what he's talking about. And they start sending me deals. Okay, so end up finding out after all the cold calling, visiting properties, and y'all, let me tell y'all something. I had Achilles surgery. I was in a boot. I couldn't drive. So guess what? Packed the wife and the kids up. We driving an hour and a half away. We driving 2 hours away to look at properties. I'm on crutches. See, I'm serious about this thing, y'all. This ain't no joke. I ain't trying to wake up early in the morning to go to work. I want to wake up at 10, 11 o'clock sometime when I want to. And when I'm sick, if I don't want to get up, I ain't got to call nobody and act like I'm sick because I really want to see the Bama game tonight. Roll Tide. So what I did was, y'all, when I end up running into a wholesaler, these units behind me that Johnny and myself, we closed on. What happened was he was wholesaling it. So he was giving me the information, and I was looking at it. I said, man, something ain't right about this. So the man didn't even have it under contract. He didn't have it under contract. So I said, okay, I called Johnny. I said, man, what am I supposed to do? He said, hey, man, he ain't got it under contract. This free game. So I ended up trying to contact the sellers. They didn't want to talk to me because they said, hey, we dealt with a wholesaler. He did us wrong. Nah. So I ended up hitting up a realtor. I said, listen, this is what I got. I need you to represent us. I don't need you to go back and forth between us because you don't know what you're doing. She never sold nothing this big. Let me and Johnny handle it, but I need you to represent us so they'll know that we legit. She did that. Because she's looking at her pay too. You know, realtor that you know, if you're talking about $4 or $5 million and you talking about 2-3%, man, that's a nice little pay. That's a nice little paycheck for a realtor, right? So end up talking to the sellers. They loved us. They loved that we was 2 young men that knew we were talking about, that was easy to talk to, easy to deal. I'm pretty sure Johnny and I already told you about the deal. But anyway, once we close on them units, we talking about 96 of them bad boys. I don't think I could do 96 anything. I can't do 96 push-ups. I can't eat 96 anything. Hell, I can't even drive 96 without getting a ticket. But I got 96 doors. And y'all gotta understand, I literally came from making about $60,000 a year as a cop to got 96 doors later. And then when I looked at the taxes on it, because you gotta understand, tax, I'm used to getting a refund check. That's what we wait for every year. We wait for a refund check. Want that extra money to get in that pocket. Okay. But guess what? When we came back with that cost segregation, and I looked at them taxes, and I saw how much they said, okay, this is how much you can defer on your taxes. The tax that long stretch for them 20+ years. I said, oh man, this is a game changer here. Yep. Even if you got another business where you make all this money, you always paying the government back. Real estate is going to offset all that. So listen, this is what I want y'all to do today for me. if you're gonna actually do this today, I need y'all to do it. I need y'all to get out. As soon as we get off this call, y'all need to go ahead and take action. At the end of the day, that's what solved all this. I took action. I was able to accomplish my goals. Last year, I still did 4 fix and flips. Okay. This year, I got some other goals in mind I want to do in real estate and some other business. And it also opened up doors for other things outside of real estate for me, y'all. So this is what I'm telling you guys. As soon as you get off this call, take action. That's really what it comes down to. All right. Ain't no, some of y'all on here said, man, I gotta talk to the wife. Man, y'all make decisions when I talk to y'all wives on other stuff. So this ain't the time. This ain't the time to sit here and make those excuses. Oh, I got to talk to my husband. Some of y'all know y'all be hiding that extra money and trying to buy something on the side and ain't told him nothing. He look in the closet, like, where you get this dress from, baby? Oh, I've been had that. Nah, this is the time where you really got to take action for yourself and your family. And y'all got to understand, it feels real good to take my kids to the houses that I flipped, that I sold. It feels real good to drive them up to Montgomery and say, Dad, where we at? Oh, Daddy own all this. And you can pass it down to them. It's deep. It's just deeper than just the money. It's deeper than just the taxes. Okay. It's all about legacy building. Okay. Some of y'all hate y'all job. Some of y'all hate, the situation that you guys are in. And I did this thing with no money. I did it through leverage and partnerships. It just took a little leg work. Okay. So for some of y'all out here to say, man, I really ain't got the money to do, all the fancy VAs and all this stuff. You don't need. I ain't have a VA. Only VA I know is the Veteran Affairs hospital. That's the only thing I know. I ain't never hired a VA because I feel like if I got 2 legs and I got a mouthpiece, I'm gonna talk to folks. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with getting a VA, but I'm just saying you guys got to take action. If there's something you really want, you need to do it. So, Johnny, you got any questions for me, man? I hope everybody, y'all be safe. Y'all go out there and do some, just go out there and take action, man. That's really what it comes down to.
That's it, man. I got no questions, man. I honestly, I wanted you to share your journey because when I tell your story, nobody can tell your story like you. And that's the thing. I'm a true believer in giving people their flowers, man, because you are a true testament to the power of the mindset to taking action and actually doing it. Because we're no different than anybody. We're no different. When we have
John, I don't mean to interrupt you, but this literally just hit me. I don't want to lose the train of thought. I literally thought about this. One thing I learned from Johnny, one of the biggest lessons I'm still working on to this day is patience. See, Johnny got patience. Johnny got patience with y'all, man. I ain't talking about y'all, particularly in this group. I'm talking about people, period. I'm talking about, man, he got some patience out this world. It's a special place in heaven for that, man. Because let me tell you something. I get people DM me all the time, message me, and for a long time I would respond and I would try to help people and they wouldn't do nothing. And that's one thing I'm allergic to. I'm allergic to people that hesitate. Because let me tell you something. If me and my partner, we out somewhere and I need some help, I don't need you to hesitate to help me out if I got to get into something. Okay. So I look at real estate the same way. If you say you want to go out there and do something, you need to go out there and do it. If I'm giving you the tools, I'm helping you and I'm not charging you and I'm spending my hard-earned time with you and you don't do nothing, that I feel some type of way about that. Now, Johnny may not feel no type of way about it, but I do. So what I'm saying is, man, do right by yourself, man, and actually go out there and do something for yourself. Be selfish for once, is what I'm getting at. Be selfish for once. We always want to talk about the Deion Sanders. Man, they're so incredible. Nick Saban's so incredible. Jalen Hurts so incredible. Guess what? They always a little selfish. That's why they're successful. Okay? They worked on their craft. They did what they're supposed to do because they had goals they wanted to reach, and they didn't want to be stuck in 2025 in the same place that they're sitting in. I'm sorry, man. That's all. That's what. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to get that off my chest.
No, but I appreciate it because that fervor and that hunger that comes apparent because it's critical. And that's the thing that we don't realize. Like today could be all our last day or in our last day, but we don't know. We don't know. And the shame on us if we don't do and put in the work today that's going to set that legacy up, whether it's estate planning, it's building passive income, having the trust in place that we can hand everything down to our loved ones where we know they're going to be all right if we're not here. And that's what it's all about. And understanding what it is for you. But that's the thing, man. I appreciate it, brother. You sharing and sharing your story with everybody, and bringing that conviction. You got me convicted. I'm like, hold on, man. I'm about to go cold call somebody when I get off this phone.
Hey, but for real though, for real, I think after going through your program and doing what I've done, even up to now, and you know the other businesses that I've ventured off in, right?
Mhm.
And we talked about that offline. We ain't talking about no small stuff. We talking about big stuff, right? This gave me the confidence to where I can do anything, is what I'm saying. Y'all got to understand, to take a house that was built in the 1930s and you sitting at the closing table with 8 of the heirs, and the house ain't been lived in for 20 years, and you got to put 95,000 in the renovations, and for it to turn out to be a supreme product to where a family wants to move in, then you bring the 8 heirs back to see the house that grandma or Mima was living in and died in, and they look at that house and what it transferred to. That does something to you.
Yeah.
And I can say I did that, right? I can say I did that. And to me, it's the biggest flex of them all, right? And this is a front to nobody, but whether you're a colonel in the military or you're a doctor or you've done this or this or that, when I say I got 96 doors, I feel like I'm the biggest person in the room.
That's it.
I'm just saying it to me, it's a that's just for my personal thing. It's a different confidence that I have, that I feel like I can do anything, you know, and not just real estate, but any business.
Facts.
Yeah. Because it's the thing is with real estate, I feel like real estate can translate to any business, like as far as like just a basic foundation of how you do things. You know, you have to have customer service. You have to know how to talk to people. You have to you have to talk a person not necessarily into selling their property because they got to be motivated, but you have to be able to have a good enough verbal skills to agree with the price that you want.
Yep.
Not the one that they want, the one that you want. That takes some skill there. And not only that, to work with lenders, to manage contractors, to pay the bills, to work with the city inspectors, and things of that nature. In order to come with that takes a different type of skill. So anyway, man, like I said, I expect to see a bunch of people in this program and taking action and flipping some houses, and not just being on the sideline watching like a spectator. I'm already doing that when I watch football. I don't want to be no spectator in a real estate game. I want to be in the game.
Let's go. Yeah, this move too slow to be entertaining.
Yeah.
I appreciate you,
100%.
brother, coming through. As always, man, love you, man. Have a great night. Hang around with us because I'm gonna do some questions. Somebody may have some questions for Reggie. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the slides. We're gonna get to it, and then I'm gonna be around. Hopefully, Reggie has a little time for Q&A. And yeah, and we're gonna welcome everybody that's coming in, joining the family that's looking for some other opportunities as well too. And we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we're gonna wrap up. We're going a little bit over tonight, but I'm gonna move us through expeditiously for that. But that was the biggest thing. I want you guys to kind of hear from the horse's mouth and just hear other people talk about what does taking action look like. What does it look like to apply everything that we talked about these 5 nights, and then understand, okay, how can I apply this in my life? And that's the biggest takeaway. So kind of Reggie talked about a little bit, but I did want to offer up and give an invitation for those that would consider my inner circle. We're coming into the group and understanding what comes with that. And so I want to kind of walk through the details of what that is and kind of how I set things up based off, the experiences with the 4 masterminds that I'm in, the ones I've been in the past, and kind of how I just collapsed and brought all these different facets of it, different methodologies and coaching and mentorship and taking action and deal flow all together. And so that's it's a step-by-step approach. I teach you guys how to find, finance, fix, and finish deals and go through that process. But really, it's really centered around live weekly coaching, accountability groups, and due diligence and project management consulting once you get those deals under contract and you're managing it. And going through the key benefits, you guys, we've talked about this stuff and you've seen it, but define, finance, the fix, finish, the framework that wraps everything up. But it's focused on evolving your skills and helping you accelerate the process. The whole thing we talk about with mastermind groups, We're here to start that action, to start taking action, and then accelerating that journey for you to get to whatever it is, whether it's the time freedom, it's the building the wealth, it's setting the legacy up, whatever it is, it's on the other side of you taking the action and moving forward. And understanding the accountability session where you're aligned with your peers and going through and being able to go through that process of multiple people trying to go and get their deal or working through their deal, building partnerships where you can partner on the same deals, and having that accountability around the clock and understanding what those success metrics are. And one of the big things with this is, and I love how I set my challenge up, we take the goals that you identified on day 2, we collapse those into individual actions and tasks, and then we roll that into the matrix and we monitor this over the next 6 months, going through that process and doing the course corrections, measuring performance on a weekly basis so you can make the changes that you need to in order to be successful. And then just understanding as you go through, you get something under contract, you're not going through due diligence, you're not managing the project alone, that you have the team beside you, have my coaching roster, myself that's right there with you to help you through the process. So to do this one-on-one, I charge $25,000 to go through for a one-on-one client for 1 year. To kind of, I find the deals for them, I vet the deals, I present them to them. I understand, and this is, for someone in the right position that's a multi-6-figure owner that's going through and has capital, but they need to build their portfolio. And guess what? Time is of the essence for them, and they're looking to get results fast. And so that's kind of that process for someone in the crowd. We got to have a one-on-one conversation, you and I. You're not going to a website to buy that or do anything. But for the multifamily mastermind, for my inner circle, it is a $10,000 investment in order for me to lead you through that process to help you accomplish your goals and to get that first deal or get that next deal going. But one of the things that I did do tonight, we're kicking off the new year and where we are right now, that we did reduce that for everybody that attended over the next 72 hours. If you're interested and you're committed to it, that is $6,000. And one of the things that I like to tell people, because a lot of times people get sticker shock. A lot of people tell me, they're like, "Oh, that's all you charge." I'm like, yep, that's what we charge. And because for me, it's not necessarily about the amount of money and the time commitment. It's about you taking action to move it forward. Because when you think about it and put it in perspective, that the average fix and flip in 2022, the average profit on one fix and flip deal was $60,000, a little bit over $60,000. So, and I tell people, like, action and taking action ain't expensive. It's inaction that's what's expensive. Because you think about it, and when I look back at my life, it's like I bought my first property in 2006. I didn't buy my next house in 2013. And, it was almost a 7-year time span in between that. And then when you look at when I first started fixing and flipping, and we did our first like true fix and flip project from 2015, it was 5 years before I found multifamily. So it took me an extremely amount of time to realize the power of multifamily. But the inaction, if I went back and put a number on it, like, hey, if I had did one multifamily starting in 2012 versus 2020, and if I just did one deal every other year, not even just one a year, where would I be today? And the thing is, the inaction, you not knowing how to flip one house and make $60,000, it's costing you $60,000 a year at a minimum, not knowing how to do it. Guess what? Over 5 years, if you just flip one house a year and made $60K, that's $300,000. You not knowing how to do this the last 5 years cost you over $300,000. And that's the thing that we talk about when we talk about time and buying time back, is that you don't understand the inaction of not doing and how expensive it actually is when you not betting on yourself, when there's other people that's just normal, that aren't as talented, that aren't as smart as you, that's out here doing it because they're able to take forward and take action. And so one of the things that I wanted to lay out, I did want to add some bonuses in there. With one thing that we're rolling out, the capital raising support. I'll tell you, my mastermind group that I was in last year was I won't even put a name on it, but I spent $30,000. I was part of the group, $30,000. Nobody, they weren't doing none of this. Nobody was partnering with anybody. Nobody was assisting you to raise capital for your deals. That's something that I'm rolling out that we've done, and Reggie kind of talked about with our partnership. But then also assisting in raising capital with my platform that I have, with how I raise money for my deals. But then also I have opportunities for you can invest in my deals as well too, that we're doing across Alabama. And then so on the other side of it, access to commercial broker data. You got access to that. That's one of the things that we have data across the Southeast for brokers, email addresses, phone numbers, and mailing addresses where you can start that marketing day one, within the first 30 days, that you go in, giving you the data where you can start building those relationships offline with these individuals that are getting the deals. At the same time that you're pulling lists and going directly to owner to get deals at the same time. So, so capital raising support with me kind of helping in that process, but then also access to the commercial broker data. But then the third part with it was really cool. We talked about Houston. I'm gonna be in Houston next month, the end of February. In Houston, I guess we won't say unreleasing, but I'm releasing my capital raising course on how I raise money, the process to go through the raising money. And so you guys will get access to that when that comes out as well too. And that's included unlimited deal debt support. So you're underwriting. We make sure that you underwrite it. Coach Tanessa, she helps with the underwriting and going through and vetting deals. And also, you get access to all the document library, the contracts. So my first multifamily deal that I talked about, I didn't talk about the lawyer and the paperwork. That paperwork alone costs $5,000. And right now it's probably about $8,000 to $10,000 to get the paperwork, just with inflation and what I'm hearing other people charge for the private placement memorandums, the operating agreement, and the subscription agreement for your LLC for the deal to do the joint venture. It's going to cost you. You get all that free, where now you just take that and give that to your attorney, tell them to look over and make some tweaks for you, and you're good to go and you're off to the races. So, you got bonus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm throwing in my VA. We have VA support in the Philippines that can help you with the cold calling, with the sending the text messages to set appointments for you, where you're not having to go through and make all these calls, where you can have a set amount of time. They can go through and process a list for you and set appointments for you to follow up after work or at your leisure, whenever you need to. And then bonus number 7, you guys get my REI success course. So the course that Reggie talked about, going through my original program, we packaged that all into a course. My single family fix and flip course that I originally rolled out as a program, that now is a standalone course. And this is the same deals that I'm doing right now. We've done 10 deals last year. We averaged between 10 to 15 deals a year in Panama City, in that market. But giving you all the systems, the processes, how we manage the projects, how we go in, how my direct to listing agent process to get deals under contract on the MLS, but then also the marketing offline for single family deals. And then the 8th bonus, in case you needed one more, is me. You get access to me and being able to get time on my calendar, whether it's just 15 minutes in between the live coaching sessions that we have every Monday. My 17 years experience from, my time at the University of Alabama, electrical engineer, master's in business administration, certification from Northwestern in financial planning, but then also well over $100,000 that I spend on professional development in the real estate space, in the coaching space, with everything that I do in the military experience, multiple deployments, lead a $1.3 billion software development acquisition, the things that I do right now. Most of the stuff I've done in my career and do right now, I can't even talk about. I'll never be able to talk about. It'll never see daylight. And that's the crazy part about with the experience and stuff, that being in where we do on the military side, a lot of times you can't even talk about it. But everything that I have and experience over the years, from buying my first deal, buying these multifamily deals, and managing these projects, you guys get the benefit from all those years experience to pour into you in order to accelerate your journey. And then, of course, the focused mentorship. And we already talked about what the benefits of mentorship are. And, for those, because we talked about, some people may want to guarantee, if you don't get your deal or get access to a deal in 6 months, I'll work with you for free for 120 days of coaching and going, that where you're going to get an opportunity to get in the deal and participate on somebody's team and add value to a team, or get your own deal during that time. And, we can go through the frequent asked questions that some people ask, like, hey, I got so much going on. Is it the right time? And trying to lead, it's going to take I would dedicate at least 2 to 3 hours a week towards this, if you're serious, if you're committed to it. But there's no, if you got time. Everybody has 24 hours. And so if you're either going to make time for it or you're not going to make time for it. And that's for you to decide if you can find 2 or 3 hours in your schedule in order to start building wealth, to get to that time freedom, to get to that generational wealth, to get to that big why that you're going after. The program, it starts next week. We're going to meet Monday night. We're going to set up the accountability groups. We're going to, issue the survey and kind of get things packed, where what time people can meet, things like that, the logistics. whereas that we can get the partnerships up for the accountability groups to get those set up and get everybody onboarded next week. And but we start Monday night. Monday night, 8 o'clock will be the first session, and we're gonna get going through starting this next series with the Raising Private Money. That's gonna be kind of the next linchpin as we go into the rest of January and February. I talked about the time commitment, the next steps after you enroll today. You can go to the link right there at the bottom. Go to the link to sign up. You got 72 hours to kind of go in, figure out. You got a couple different payment arrangements in there. And the thing that I didn't talk about before is the unlisted bonus there at the bottom is for those that, you know, we need to have a conversation, shoot me a message or whatever, but there is a potential of financing option that I'll do for some people. If you're really serious, you're committed, and we'll see what we can do to make that work. But that is it. That is it. So I definitely want to give you guys, those that are looking for me to help and they looking for the ability to be held accountable, and they want to get more information on having somebody kind of partner with them and go through the accountability to get there on the end, that this is it. This is what we got for my inner circle. And yeah, I'm gonna open it up for questions. Just raise your hand and it'll bring you up to the front, and we'll go through and process. But I do, before I bring you up, Reg, I do just want to say thank you to everybody that showed up, that that took it serious, that went through the process over the course of the week, and was faithful to the process. Because a lot of times just showing up is the hardest part. And so I think going through, you should have your roadmap to success laid out, from the renewed mindset for 2024, the goals that you took and went through with the homework that you set for yourself, understanding the power of building wealth with multifamily, to get how to get started, the different strategies, the ways you can go through, start networking, the different mastermind groups. You don't have to join my mastermind group, but find the information, find the tribe that's for you, that's going to help you get there, because they are a game changer. Being aligned with the right group of individuals will change your life. And so I definitely encourage you guys to kind of seek out what it is that you need, do that assessment, and just go make it happen. Take action, get after it, and make 2024 your best year, because I'm a true believer that you can actually do it if you believe it and if you put the work in it. But I just definitely want to salute each and everybody that that showed up the entire week. And we're gonna do something special for one lucky person. We're gonna do a drawing. Faye, we want to do that tonight, or we're gonna set up a separate session. How did you want to do that?
We'll probably have to do it real live on the Facebook group.
Okay, yeah, we can do it. We can do it live in the group.
We'll be waiting for because we want to hear your feedback, guys. Like, you know, the things that we can improve on. What do you think of the program, the boot camp itself, or the challenge itself, the worksheets that you got, all the things that you have learned out of it, and let us know what you think, and we'll pick one for as a winner.
Yep. Just give us your honest feedback and critique for the week, and just share that feedback. Helps us, and then reviews help as well too, for just us to continue to improve and make it better. And with that, Reggie, what you got, man? I see your hand up, and then we'll move to Katrina next.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick. First of all, I'm a little jealous of everything you offered. I think when I first joined, we didn't have all that.
Why are you jealous?
Man, let me tell you something. Well, first of all, starting from the mastermind, the fact that they get to have you directly, and it's pretty much I'm doing everything for you. That if I got a 401k that I can reach in and grab the money I need for that, I'm grabbing that off top. Like, because to invest 10,000 for me to make 60, I'll do that all day. To invest 10 to make 100, to invest 10 to make 1.6 million. I mean that ain't, you know, I threw that number out for a reason. But anyway, that's one thing. That the other thing is every single point that you gave, like there's nobody else that's doing that. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying that. We had a guy,
and I'll cut you off. My wife always tells me, like, you take a lot of this stuff for granted. It's not. I'm a really great guy, and I'll tell you, I paid way more for a whole lot less. And I'll tell you, I've been in rooms where I look at a lot of people don't look like me in the room, and I've had conversations where people purposely keep certain people out the room because they don't want to change the dynamic of the room and the information. And that's one of the things that I'm all about it. You know the title of my book, What They Forgot to Teach You in School, and that there's some people that have information that they could care less whether you get it or not. They don't really care about trying to prevent you from getting it, but they don't care that you get it. That's
Exactly.
what it's all about. And that's why
And
I'm fine with aligning with the right people that's ready to take action. Let's go.
yeah, and that's the thing. We had a guy that went to our conference. He came to our conference last year. Well, came to your conference last year.
Mhm.
Said, man, I'm gonna join. He ended up
Oh
joining
yeah.
another tribe. And that leads my other point I was gonna say. He joined another tribe. He called me because we actually are boys. He's like, man, I regret it. I regret every day spending that $4,000 just trying to save me some money. Because he said, the house that he did get, they supposed to partner up. He's like, I'll use this contractor. The contractor did everything wrong. He got hit with some fines from the inspector, all types of craziness. And then the coach turns around and blame him as the student, which is not fair for a person that's new. So I'm gonna be honest with you. The only tribe I'm down, it's like Death Row Records over here. I'm down. I'm down with Johnny Lynum. You know what I'm saying? If you join anybody else, I don't know what they doing over there, but I know we doing over here. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about proof in the pudding. So if if you got two students on here that are taking action and they're actually giving you passion, like this ain't no gimmick, this from the heart here. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, you can already see how the type of person Johnny is. Johnny's type of person, like even in this week teaching, I know this for a fact because I've been to several of them. He's going to deep detail where you can take this week and actually go do something with the small amount of information that he gave you. So just imagine once you get in and what you actually can do. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just say that, man, like you offering a whole lot for a little bit of nothing. And I just say, man, I ain't with no other tribe. It's only this tribe only. I've had people hit me up and they was like, yeah, I was in Johnny's week thing, but I ended up joining another program. Wonder if I can get with you on something. I don't even answer them back, y'all. That's how serious I am about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get those calls. I'd had a lot of strategy sessions with people like, hey, I joined so and so, and I don't name drop to do that. And even some of them some veteran like real estate programs. And yeah, it's unfortunate it happens, but that's the thing that but it's a learning experience. Whatever it is, whatever you invest in, you got to learn from it. And as long as you learn
Hmm.
from it, it's like, okay, some lessons are more expensive than others. And that's the process that you got to go through. No, I appreciate all that, man, because it's not about quantity, it's about quality. You want to be around the right people. And with me, I put my inner circles like, hey, I want my peace. I don't want the right people. And if you, I don't want you to feel like you're being pressured to do anything. But hey, if you committed, I only want committed people around me, people that's serious, that's trying to do it. Because guess what? If we're gonna do that, we're gonna run through walls together. We're gonna be right there beside you, going through it. And that's what it's all about. But yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. All facts. Katrina, I see your hand raised. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you? How's everybody? First of all, oh, my first time
Hi,
speaking.
Katrina.
Hi, hi, hi. Um, Let me just say this one thing. I've listened to a lot of webinars.
Mhm.
Um, Hear the price, and then I disappear. One maybe the person that convinced me, whatever, whatever. However, I've listened to Johnny since that first phone call that we had, just very briefly, and I was intrigued. I've always wanted to do real estate, um, flipping, fix and flip, maybe own my own property. Now, the reason why I say maybe not in 2024 is because God is doing something to me right now. He
Okay.
um he has hit me with, well, let me just say this. The little side man tried to get me, but God said, no, not my child. I always reference to the book of Job. So I know right now, if I was to embark in this, financially, I'm not able to. No, I don't use the words not able to. Financially, right now, it's not for me. It's because I got to go through a series of health things before I can do anything. I'm
Okay.
going to be rendered like helpless I can't go outside. I can't, and I got to build up my immune system. So in essence, If it wasn't for me knowing about one thing, I wouldn't have known that I technically have cancer.
Mm.
But when I say I have that, and when you say, I'll be like, no, don't do that. Because the way that is hitting me and the way that is going for me right now, God is saying, when you get up from this, you will be out there doing exactly what I need you to do. And one of those things is I like to cook, I like to bake. So that will be my passive income while I'm in the house and I can't go anywhere. And I
Okay.
can build up that financial so that I can do whatever if I make the next course that you have. But to let it be known, listening to you, listening to Reginald, just looking at a couple of things that I did look into, I know I'm ready, but once I am physically ready, my mind is in it, spiritually I'm in it, there will be no stopping me. So it'll be that point where John will be like, wait a minute, wasn't that little girl over there who said she was rendered helpless for the time being because God is working with her? I'm that child. So
Let's
for
go.
right now, I don't want to get into anything and then, I got to go into the hospital because I got to be in the hospital for 2 or 3 weeks. And once I get out the hospital, then I got to stay in the house for at least 6 months. So
Mm.
it's better for me to say, listen, learn. You can still get information. You can read. You're going to send me the name of that book that you posted up or any other book that you may have. And in that time being when I'm in the house, and I can't go outside, I can read a book other than Bible and all that other good stuff. And then I will get that knowledge so that when it's time for me, I'll be financially ready, physically ready, mentally ready,
Let's
and
go.
then I can let's go. Because in the interim, I've had certain things happen to me within the past 3 years. And I had a conversation with my daughter earlier tonight. This cannot go on anymore. Whereas we are waking up in the morning, I don't want to go to work, or we're waking up in the morning and we don't just have what we need to have to go forward in life. So this is a learning experience for me. And each and every night I sat here and I listened and I partake. And it's very, 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 that when I say Johnny, I don't know what it is about you. How Reginald said, I don't know what it is about you, but you have got me. Got me, and I'm sitting here. I have other people that I can talk to, give them this information from them because they're actually doing this, flipping and or either doing rentals where they only deal with certain type of people, and that income is coming in, and they taking trips. They waking up when they want to. That's the life I want to lead. I keep talking about in 10 years, I'm gonna retire. Well, I don't know about that. Right about now, I don't know about that.
That's
Once
okay.
I get it and I'm doing it, there may be a early retirement coming in. I want to build income for my 2 grandkids. My daughter left us early, so I want to make sure that they're okay. My most immediate thing to do in this lifetime is to make sure that my grandchildren are okay because that's what their mother was all about. So
Right.
her legacy is my mission, is to make sure that when it's my time and we're up there together looking down at them, they're okay. They have this to look at. And I'm learning about trust and all this other good stuff. So there's a lot of information. So for that, and it's not even the money, Johnny. It's the top. It's the fact that I don't have. Well, it is the money. Let me not say it's not. But if I had it sitting on my lap right now, I would give it to you because I know at the end of the day, the little bit of goals that I'm going to sit down and try to make for myself, the making all my my board of advisors, and looking at my first deal, whether it be a fix and flip or whether it be a rental property. I want to make sure that at the end of the day, I've done everything, I've made everything, and the fact that I listened to Johnny, I got to that place. So my deepest like you just hit me, John. But you just hit me, and a lot of people don't hit me the way that you hit me. I'm very skeptical when I look at stuff like this. But this right here, I know that once I get into it, and I know I said once I get into it, It's nothing but sky the limit.
No, I appreciate that you being vulnerable and sharing everything. And I you can do it. It's no reason, and you having the faith in you and understanding your journey and the challenges that that you're gonna face, and understanding where everything that you're gonna line and do after that it takes a lot of confidence. So I salute you, just everything that you're facing and still thinking about your next generation, your kids and grandkids, and what you need to do in order to better align their future. So we're gonna be here. I'm gonna be here, and we're gonna welcome you with welcoming arms when you're ready for 100%. And that's what it's all about. It's all about the mission. That the money and all that stuff, that's fine. Like I tell you guys, that the money, that's the byproduct of all the success and all the hard work and going through and taking the action. It's a lag indicator. And it's all about the time free part. What's money? You can always go find ways to go get more money, but you'll never get more time. And that's what this is all about for me, is like the time freedom and helping other people realize that what's most important in their lives. And yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing 100%. We'll be here, whatever we can do to help that journey. Let me know. You know how to contact me. And I think that puts the conviction on everybody. It's like, hey, she wish she could right now, but she knows she's got to go and face this other battle. But we think about all the other excuses. Like, okay, what excuse I got? I'm not having to go do any surgery right now, but I'm just sitting here sleeping on my dreams, or I'm not going forward with doing what I need to do because I'm taking the next day and tomorrow for granted. Hopefully you're rolling the dice. Hopefully you're right. And that's it. But thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, you made my night. You made my night.
You're so welcome.
Any other questions? I know we went over tonight. Any other comments? Anything? Anybody want to share anything?
Yeah, how many of y'all joined it? Put a one in the, if you join it, if you join it, put a one in the chat.
I'm in here.
Wake up, Earl.
But yeah, I think that's the big one, Reggie, is kind of going through that whole process, man, that I think is really I don't know. I think where everything is at right now, I think 2024 from a market standpoint, I've seen some changes. I'm hearing things about as far as where loans are and stuff like that. So it's gonna be good. I think one of the things that we're gonna work on too is getting everybody down to Montgomery doing the property tour. It was something that we wanted to get done in the fall. It didn't work itself out just with firing the second property manager last year. That's a whole story within itself. And experiences that we're going to be sharing over the next couple of months with everybody. But it didn't work out with getting everybody to Montgomery, kind of walking the property, going through that process. So I think that's something that's going to happen in the next 4 to 6 months. We're going to put that together. Houston's coming up. For those in Texas, I'll be in Houston February 22nd through the 26th. Down there teaching multifamily, raising private money with Gene and the Go Getter family. He's huge on about subject to and becoming the bank. And we'll be doing that. And I'll be in Birmingham March 19th at a RIA meetup there on a Tuesday night, sharing. And some more things in the work coming up. Hopefully we can get back to Dallas in April for the Veterans of Real Estate Summit. I got to talk to Brandon to see if I made the lineup this year for that one. And and so it's all the way up. 2024 is going to be a great year. The economy's turning over. One of our properties we went under contract today that's been sitting on the market for about over 90 days. So things are, rates are dropping. There's getting a lot more activity out there. So this is the time to start taking action because they're predicting multiple rate drops going into next year. And so I think where we are right now, if you're on the lower end of the market for like first time home buyer, you're going to do well because there's not a lot of inventory. And so I just challenge you to kind of take the information, get out there, from the real estate side, find the pain, follow the pain, whether it's a vacant house, a pre-foreclosure, a probate property, a house behind on the taxes. Find some where the pain is, go in and figure out how you can solve somebody's problem with a real estate, with a piece of real estate. And it'll change a lot. You just got to take the action. You got to take the action to get going, because I think that the opportunity is there, because you got a lot of people on the sideline, the hedge funds, the big buyers that have been, that we've all having to compete with the last few years. They're not back in the market right now, just with their cost of money being too expensive. So it's a good time. It's a good time to be a real estate investor, and if you know what you're doing, that you can continue to do some damage and build some wealth long term. So that's my feedback and word of advice on that side of it. And yeah, I think go through it, but I think the other side, have fun when you're doing this too. I think that's the other side that we lose sight of. That everybody's serious with chasing goals. We're chasing, I won't say chasing success, because we're already successful to get where we are today. But you got to have fun. You got to be able to laugh at yourself. You got to be able to laugh at your mistakes and have the confidence to know you got everything you need to do to figure out the solution to be successful. So I encourage you to go through that. Have fun and just live life. Don't take it too serious. We want to get to 100 doors, 1,000 doors, but at the end of the day, like that stuff, it matters, but it really doesn't matter. It's like the stuff that really matters is priceless. To be there for your kids, your family, your spouse, your loved ones, to be happy, be content and where you are. To make sure you got the basics covered. And if you can get enough passive income to take care of your expenses, you're good. You don't need $1 billion portfolio. You don't need $100 million portfolio. You don't even need $1 million portfolio. If you do it right, you can get 4 or 5 properties and just focus on paying those properties off in 10 years, and you'll live like a king. And so there's different strategies, and that's what we go through and break down. It's like, understand what your true goals are and let you know, okay, there's ways to get there, that everybody doesn't need to be on a private jet. I don't want to be on a private jet. I don't want to be riding around in a Ferrari. And because that stuff should make you happy. Because if you're not happy before you get that stuff, when you get that stuff, it's not gonna make you happy. You're still gonna be miserable. So I encourage people, don't fall in love with the things. You got to fall in love with yourself, the process, everything around you, the intangibles that are free. And once you fall in love with that stuff, everything else is irrelevant, because that's not gonna bring you that happiness and everything. So for those that's looking, and sometimes you get caught up with like, oh, I need to go get the brand new car and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, but if you're not happy riding the old car, you will still be miserable in the new car. Just with more money you're gonna be paying out. And so that's the thing I just challenge. That's just some Johnnyism, my philosophy on things. You can take it or leave it. Since I'm on the clock, I said I was gonna be here at 10 o'clock anyway. So I just got some time to shoot the breeze. If nobody has questions, y'all feel free. You don't have to stay here and just listen to me ramble if you don't want to. But check out the website. If you're serious about the program, like, hey, can we work out some terms or something? Shoot me a message over the next couple of days. We can talk through that and figure that out if that's an option. And yeah, I'm just excited about the year and everything that it's going to bring. And I know it's going to bring a lot. And one of the things that I'm really, really in prayer about right now with the deal, we're working on this new construction deal out of San Diego. So hopefully here in the next couple months, that comes a couple weeks, actually, not hopefully, we're praying that it's going to go ahead and go through, and that's going to be a big one. So that's going to be one that I'm going to be sharing. We'll be out being out back and forth to San Diego on a 2 or 3 month basis to get out there. And that's going to be kind of a lifetime project for me, with being able to see that project over the next 2.5 years, to go from tearing down a restaurant and take it over a whole, I guess it's like half a block, and being able to build up a mixed use, first floor retail and 7-story multifamily in San Diego. So I'm super, super excited about what the Lord is going to do with that one and how that even came to be. So I'm going to be sharing more about that one once that kind of gets solidified and put that out there for the public with that. And yeah, and we just continue to spread the word. And that's something that you'll see come out, and I'll share it in the Facebook group too. For those that kind of want to earn as they learn, I guess you say, but I'm rolling out something like for affiliates and stuff with everything that we're doing. We're like, hey, if you have different audience or you have organizations or somebody that may be interested, whereas that you can get paid for bringing people into the community and sharing with them as well too, to get the word out. Because you only can get the word out so many people, but everybody can touch their own network and different people, and people that are looking to be successful with real estate. And so definitely that's something that we're getting the word out. Give the feedback, the survey, share the comments, and definitely do that. And if you guys got questions, just hit me up as you're going through stuff. I may not be able to get to it immediately. If I can't get to it, drop it in the Facebook group. Faye may see it as well too, and she can reach and get to me. And yeah, Christian, what's up, man? I just saw your face pop up. Since we just sit here shooting the breeze.
All is well. I'm excited. Let's go.
I know, man. I'm excited as well too. Any words of wisdom to share with those that's left hanging out?
So let me see. I'm trying to see who's all in here. So really, I think one of the things that you talked about that really stuck out to me was the inaction. Talking about over the five-year span, right? I think, a lot of us look at like, the things that we do, like the money that I have right now, the things that I have going on right now. And I just think back to the first time I made an investment in myself and what that did for me. It opened up so many doors for me. And I think that's the one thing that you need to look at right now in this season. When was the last time that you bet on you? When was the last time that you invested in you? Yeah. You invest in TVs, you invest in Black Friday deals, you invest in all these other things. But when did you invest in you? I was talking with my wife recently, and if you would have asked me a few years ago if I would have invested $3,000, $5,000 in a program, I would have said no. Like it would have been like a no, like a hard no, pass, can't do it. I'm not invested in that. I don't know if it's gonna work, right? Right. And so, and it's just crazy. The mindset that has shifted after making that initial investment. I'm like, you know what? If it makes sense, we're doing it. No questions asked. Let's do it. Let's get with it, because it's time to move and create opportunities for our children. We're talking to our kids right now, and we have a son that he's a junior in college and he's playing basketball. But as soon as he's finished playing, he's calling us and he's always asking like, hey, what are we doing in the business? What's going on? And so he's always excited about that. And he's I think we talked a little bit. He's getting his real estate license just because he wants to know different aspects of it. Okay. But he's really into investing. So, we told him, hey, you gotta invest in yourself. So, one of the things that we told him is to just kind of he needs to make the decision when he's going to make that investment in himself. And so, that question is for everybody here. When are you going to invest in yourself?
Yeah. And I think that's the thing that we go through. It's crazy. Like, cause I was really, when I graduated high school with 4.2. And so I was really smart, academically inclined. And that's the most frustrating thing, is like, they feed you. And like, I don't use 90% of that stuff. Yeah. That's the crazy part about it. When you start thinking about it, you get fed all this information. It's like you take your freshman year, sophomore year of college. You don't even use that information anymore. It's like, why do we waste all this time when you can be telling people like about the credit score, how to buy a house, how to the interest rate on compound interest stocks, bonds, how to be an astute investor, how to day trade, how to read, the analytical charts on the stock market, all that kind of stuff that people could actually use that's practical. But we're learning about the periodic table and chemistry and trigonometry and all that stuff. It's like maybe 1% of society needs that for like a specific skill or career, but everybody else is like, and I equate it to us being in the military. We all, when you get to a certain rank, they send us to, they send it to IDE, intermediate developmental education. It's like they send us all there to learn how to command air power, like we're all gonna be general officers. It's like less than 0.1 of 1% of the general officer that's going to be in charge of the air operations center running an air war in a campaign. Like 1%, but everybody, they treat everybody has to go through the training just like they're going to be commanding air power. And it's like, this is a waste of a year of my life when I'm never going to get, I'm an engineer. I'm in an engineering career field. I'm not a pilot. I'll never be in a leadership position running the war. It's like, why are you making me take all this when it's not applicable to my job?
And that's one of the things that was crazy. Like you're hitting the nail right on the head, right? Like most people get fed this information, and like I don't know if a lot of people don't know this, but most people won't lead at the level that they want to in the military because it's actually, I want to say like almost like segregated, right? Like only pilots are supposed to lead. It's kind of how the Air Force is designed.
Yeah.
And I learned that the hard way. Like I was doing a documentary when I was trying to teach my son about entrepreneurship, about the military, just like different avenues. And I found out that most medical officers, right, would not and cannot lead, right? So let's take that out and let's bring it into this space, right? Most people will never invest in themselves because they don't believe it's possible, right? You know, I think about the moment that I took the opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to invest in this. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this, but frequency illusion is real. So the moment you buy a car, a brand new car, you start seeing that car everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Well, the moment you buy that first deal, Johnny calls it the law of the first deal, you start seeing deals everywhere, right? And they start becoming evident. They start becoming easy. The math becomes easier. Everything becomes so clear because of now you have the level of awareness that you didn't have before. Before, you didn't think it was possible. Now, not only do you know it's possible, you're looking for more possibilities, more opportunities. And I think that's the great thing about the program is you're going to give them a level of awareness that they weren't used to. And then the doors that open so much faster after that is what I'm excited about.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely true. And but that's the thing, like a lot of this stuff I equate like with parenting. Like how many people actually went through training to be a parent, to be a really good parent? It's like, it's like there's not a manual that you really get. You take the experience that you had as a child from your parents and you try to improve on that. But you really don't think about it. It's like they don't teach you how to be a parent in school. It's like that's something that everybody
do.
Most of society is gonna have kids. You probably should teach them how to be good parents. But just stuff like that, you start thinking, it's like, wow. And this is no different. But I wouldn't trade the journey for nothing. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. It's definitely been a blessing, and it's been a blessing. Just Katrina blessed me. Just never meeting her. We had a conversation a couple weeks ago, and then just hearing her testimony, what she's doing, and what she wants to do with her life, and make those next steps when she gets able. That it's like, wow, to know you kind of had that impact on somebody's. You can't put a price on that. Yeah. And just like Reggie sharing his story, it's like, man, to help somebody leave their job, to get by an asset in a multifamily like that, and do that deal, that multiple deals that we all did together, from just the relationships with one buyer who knew another, for one seller that knew another seller, they share property management companies, and then putting those deals together that you couldn't even make it up. You couldn't even dream up, the seller financing and how they put the deal together, and that. So,
and it's so funny, the one of the things that you had talked about, I think it was night 2, you were talking about like, hey, here are the goals, how we're setting the SMART goals. And most people will say it's not possible to make this happen. But if you listen to what Reggie just said, in one deal, he almost got 100 doors, right? And so it takes the ability, the creativity in your mind to see things, because God has given us these amazing abilities to see things that are bigger than us. If it doesn't scare you, if it doesn't make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, then it's not a big dream, because you can do it on your own. It's something that you can accomplish in your sleep, something that you can do easy. But if it doesn't stretch you, if it doesn't make you go a little bit like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna make this investment, but we gotta go all in, right? If you haven't done that, then that means that you've been living on the safe side, And you know, you're afraid of failure, and that's not the way to live, right? You know, you talked about that as well. We can't live there. That's, you know, false evidence appearing to be real. So we got to go. 11 days, right? 11 days. Let's go.
Yep. That's it. That's it. And I think it's a continuous process. And for everybody, that aha moment or that action or situation that pushes them over the hump, that had to take that action. It's going to be different for everybody at the time. And it's weird though, but you still have to. I still get it. Like when you like putting the offers together, because you never know everything, and then you're doing bigger deals, and it's like, you know, even with this new construction thing, it's like I've never built 175 units from the ground up, doing new construction and everything, but it's like, okay, I've been successful in the past up to this point. I know I'm gonna figure it out. And I know I have a lot of value to bring to, you know, the primary operator with the deal. He doesn't even have that near experience of what I've gotten. So I'm like, okay, you know, there's things, but you have to go through, and you have to reassure yourself and go through that process that it's uncomfortable. But change is supposed to be. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. So it's a process, and it's different levels to it. And as you go through, it changes. You just get more and more comfortable with it, and being with the uncertainty and with the unknowns. And it's a muscle that you have to continue to work and grow and exercise, and continue to foster it, or you'll lose it and you'll be shy and won't pull the trigger on anything, putting offers in or anything.
Absolutely. You know, one of my mentors, he does a study on Think and Grow Rich every year, and he fills it up. I mean, he's had probably like about 3,000 people at one time in his Think and Grow Rich study. And I mean, like, filled to the brim, always has people in there.
Okay.
And one of the things that I laugh about is that I went through, and after listening through that study about 2 sessions, I went and started doing some research on it. And Think and Grow Rich was only labeled that because when Napoleon Hill said, if I talk to people about success, they may never pick this book up.
He's right.
And it's one of the highest grossing selling books. It's made the most money, and it's probably been duplicated more than any other book, maybe with the exception of Kitchen Soup for the Soul, right? But that's not here or there. But what he said was, you have to believe in your mind that you can accomplish something. If you put that barrier up, that limiting belief, you may never accomplish anything, right? And so one of the things that I believe that I love about the community, right? And we've been talking since November. One of the things that I love about the community is just the belief that you have in people. That was one of the things that drew me near to you, right? And a lot of people don't have that. So when you talk about Napoleon Hill, when you talk about people that have these beliefs, we believe in every single one of you, right? And so if you have that little bit of doubt, borrow our belief in you. Allow us to give you our borrowed belief. And then once you take off, just remember to give that to somebody else, to share with somebody else, to invest in somebody's, help them grow. Because that's what we're about. This community is about helping people grow, helping people, you know, break those, you know, generational chains and curses, and see the greatness that they have in them. And I think that borrowed belief is something that I'm excited about, excited to kind of share and impart, and, you know, get after it, because that's it. I mean, I saw it when we talked. I see it every time you share. I'm like, hey, you could do this. You got this. Let's go.
You got to tell yourself, and like at the same time, half the time I'm talking to myself. I have to reassure myself, and I'm continuing to grow and go through that process. But even with it, like in the Bible, you know, I'm a believer. For those who don't know, big news flash. But even so, he said, whatever you ask in prayer, that believe that you received it and it's yours.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Think and grow rich. Whatever you believe in your mind, whatever you said, believe that it's yours, and it is. It's gonna be. And it's the same concept. You think and grow rich. You think in the mindset and the power, the positivity, and what you want to happen if you take action. And I tell people that, they're like, hey, I'm gonna pray about it. I'm gonna have faith that it's gonna work out. But it's like, faith is an action word. You got to do it. It's like, hey, God didn't give you tables. He gave you wood. He gave you trees and the mind to go in and turn that wood and create. and the idea to have the idea to build a table. And so that's the thing that we lose sight of, that hey, you walking through the valley of the shadow of death, you're walking, you're not stopping, you're not you can't get out there.
It didn't say rest there.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta
Some
keep
people
going.
decide to rest there.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's all good, man.
Yeah.
We going through. I appreciate everybody. I know we got a few people hanging around. Y'all know how to find me if you got any questions. 10 o'clock. I'm about to go see if these kids still up, and